Hello everyone, welcome back to Huntcraft. So Desolation's Wake gave us two new guns. My previous video, which you can check out here, was about the first one, the Marathon. So this video is going to be about the second one, the Mako. I know some would call it Mako, but for me, one is a shark, the other one reminds me of Final Fantasy VII, and I choose Final Fantasy VII. So please forgive me if I keep calling it Mako. This gun isn't as easy to analyze as the Marathon, mainly because it's in a tough competition. There's many long ammo, large slot rifles, but you can make the argument that single shot weapons are a separate subcategory. So just to make the comparison a bit more reasonable, I'll exclude single shot weapons, which leaves the Mako in comparison with the Berthier, the Lebel, the Ironside, the Mosin, and the Krag. The gun can make use of levering, but the accuracy with it isn't that great. Even though it's a fast fire rate, it's an ammo wasting mechanism more than a killing machine in my opinion. With the amount of ammo you have with this gun, and the horrible accuracy of levering, your only practical option is to force yourself to have a gun that offers reserve ammo for it, which means an uppercut or dualies uppercut or uppercut precision or sparks pistol, and in all those cases, you're severely limiting yourself in close range. So to get some reserve ammo, you have to play the Mako only, and you have to make sure you avoid CQC, which is a bad trade-off as far as I'm concerned. You can see the bad spread here. I'm actually hitting the next dummy to the right. The gun also benefits from Iron Eye, but from my testing, it's close to insignificant. Iron Eye tends to increase the effective fire rate of guns that benefit from it. Let's compare those long ammo rifles with and without Iron Eye. And ironically, the Ironside does not benefit from Iron Eye, so we'll skip it. As you can see here, the Berthier gains barely a second, but it's a small 3-bullet magazine. The Krag gains roughly a second and a half in a full mag. The Lebel with its large magazine shows a significant benefit with nearly 3.5 seconds. The Mosin gets a 1.5 seconds. But the Mako, with a bigger mag than the Berthier, seems to only gain roughly a second. I'm clicking as fast as I can, and I've tested this multiple times, so even if there's an error in my calculation, or my speed of clicking, I'm sure Iron Eye will mainly benefit the convenience of staying in clean iron sights, rather than a significant buff to fire rate. So comparing the stats of those guns on paper, we can see where the Mako really lies. It's not the highest in damage, the Ironside is. It's not the longest headshot range, the Ironside is. And this RPM stat, remember, is useless for this type of gun. If you don't know why, please check out my Lamat video, where I explain why. Cycle time, which is basically how soon the next bullet is ready to fire, so the smaller the better. It's not the best, the Krag is. Spread. It's actually tied for the worst of those guns alongside with the Berthier, and it's a levering gun. Idle sway, they're all the same. Vertical recoil, which is the smaller the better, the Krag is the best, and the Mako is actually the worst. Reload time is not the best, the Berthier or the Mosin are. bullet velocity, the Lebel is the best, and the Mako is actually the second worst out of all of them. So it's easy to conclude that this gun excels at literally nothing, and it's the worst in some stats. It's hard to even say it's a middle of a pack kind of thing. It's close to the bottom. Which led me to look at explosive ammo. Since it also got buffed in the last patch, and it now has an extended headshot range, I thought maybe that's the way to go playing this gun. Look how far these guys are, and I'm still harassing them with explosive. They're panicking and probably finding a rock to hide behind, even though I'm practically zero threat to them. I can't deny it's fun. Useless, but fun. But obviously nothing is for free. The cost of explosive ammo is a bit of velocity. It goes down from 540 to 432, which is still kind of close to uppercut speed. So you still need a bit of leading on longer ranges. It feels to me that it's still a meme, but at least a bit more viable than it used to be. It's hard to deny how fun it is to go crazy with levering with explosive ammo on some campers in a building, but that will be a waste of all your ammo, and how many kills will you get? It might be worth also explaining a little bit about explosive ammo. I never understood how it worked until I saw Hunt Lab's video about it, which I'll link in the description below, and now it makes sense. Explosive ammo damage, the explosion part of it, is calculated from the target's feet, so the further away in the body the impact is, the lower the damage. You can see here, a shot to the chest has an explosive damage of 36, while a shot to the knee, further down the body, does 43 damage. And it's 47 to the toes, which means explosive ammo can 2-tap to the toes. I don't know why that is, but it is what it is. Which may be a good explanation why this ammo can be used as a crossbow's explosive bolts. As in, you can shoot the ground when somebody's hiding around the corner, and the splash damage can finish them off. And if you're interested in the crossbow, please check out my previous guide for it. Here's an example of what I'm talking about. So while we were killing the boss, I put traps near the fence, and I hear it go off, so I know the guy is hurt and poisoned and running for cover. I see him trying to get into cover. I shoot the ground, and it's a kill. Obviously, the splash damage from the explosion can be reduced if the enemy has the bulwark trait, and the damage radius seems to be quite generous, but the damage drop-off with distance is pretty steep. So you can see here, it keeps going down all the way to 1 damage, and I think that distance is 6 meters. In conclusion, I think that gun, unfortunately, doesn't have a place in the long term. Unless they tweak it or buff it somehow, anyone who has got a go-to long ammo rifle, whether it's a Mosin or a Krag or a cheap Sparks, they just won't ditch it and replace it with this one. Now let's see some explosive ammo in action. So we've just picked up the sealed cache bounty, and it's a one-boss map, so everybody's gonna meet up. So I heard this guy's footsteps and I'm caught in the open, so my best bet is to peek and see him before he sees me to have maximum advantage. Even though I missed the headshot, explosive damage was enough to finish him off. I just heard the revive behind me, and that guy immediately jumps me with fire damage, but my teammate saves the day. It's relatively safe because we've killed 2, so I pop a regen shot, and then throw a defensive explosive, and then I realize the immolator seems to be pushing a guy, so I follow the immolator. I do hear the guy, and now I see him, and I think that's the first dude I killed, so that's a team wipe.
Well done.
Even though I see a guy, I go for the risky, greedy loot just to get the second back. And due to their speed of reviving, I think I wasn't sure if it's one or two teams, so I thought I might as well burn this guy. Now, if I'm going to loot this guy to get a second bag, then it's sufficient to scan before that, since I was already at 5. And another scan, because there's another body to loot. I thought if those guys are separated and they're on the same team, we can eliminate the guy on the left by going around this rock, because then he'll be far away and have no angle. But then my teammate engaged. And now I see at least 2 on this side. I'm not sure if that's the first guy that ran over to this guy, or that's just a duo on this side. I think this was a headshot, but the headshot sound gets smudged a little bit in the explosion. I thought he was in the little cubby on the left in the rock. He manages to get my teammate, but I had already hit that guy, and he definitely had no time to heal, so it was easy to finish him off with an explosion. The one boss hasn't vanished yet, so that's probably the last team fighting the boss. So going for my second revive, because my teammate is a bit exposed, I pop a scan. But then who's that guy I saw in Darkside? I guess it's either a solo, which would be weird that he never engaged when we were fighting that duo, or that's the third and he's a top-notch coward. Something to note here, the pack mule trait with the lawful pack is pretty useful for the Mako with explosive ammo. Getting some seconds back before we push the boss lair, and it's probably wise we burn these guys, because there were 2 and we don't know if they were a duo or they have a third. They just banished the boss, so maybe that guy is a scout for the boss team? Well, he's dead anyway. Now we push for Salter's Pork. Now I see a guy peeking through the window, so I take a shot and it's a hit. And another hit. I'm not sure if it's a kill. I put one more explosion just for pressure in case it's a kill and somebody's reviving. A bit of fire too on that window, but then I got hit by a silencer from the right. So I hold this wall just to heal up and listen. Now here's a pop quiz if you've been paying attention. Who do you think has been constantly shooting a silencer to my right? I guess it is a campy duo. I know I'm low on ammo, so I'm not trying to shoot windows like I'm normally used to. So I burned the window upstairs, and they have traps and poison down here. And they were both downstairs, so I thought if I throw the bees in, I'm kind of pushing them both to the other side of the building. I hear the steps, so they were probably trying to avoid the bees. So that nade has great potential. And it got a kill. They managed to get the revive, and I'm trying to bang that dude with the rifle with explosive damage. I burned the dude, but explosive ammo is just wasted trying to get the dude in the corner. This would have been an easy kill with explosive bolts or a frag arrow. Now that I'm practically out of ammo, I try to go upstairs to push through the window, but my teammate had already bomb-lanced them both, and that's a server wipe. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video and found the analysis helpful, and hopefully next time we'd be talking about the new map and the new engine. Please remember to like and subscribe. See you in the next one.